welcome back to 100 Days of Code with Here. My name is Shruti, and we are in week 6 of 100 Days of Code. If you still have no idea what I'm talking about, we at Here Technologies have started 100 Days of Code with Here since the 1st of April. So, since the 1st of April, on our Twitter handle at Here Dev, we've been putting up one task every day. With each task, you learn a little bit more about location technology using the Here Map APIs. So let's continue with the task for this week. So the first task for this week, or the 26th task for 100 Days of Code with Here, was to get to use the discover endpoint of the geocoder and search API to search for markets and to specify a point where you would want to discover the markets. So I'm quickly going to go to the documentation for the geocoder and search API version 7. And in the API reference page, I'm going to jump to the discover. So the task here is to discover. And as you can see, the discover endpoint is more like a free flow search wherein you've reached a destination and you want to know how can you find things here. I want to know more markets here. I want to know restaurants or something like this. So I'm going to quickly change my code from a day 25. So make this a discover endpoint. And then what I'm going to do is my query should be that about markets. So I'm just going to type markets. And as you can see, discover implies discover around a point. So I will have to specify an at value, which is discover where. So discover at a certain point. And then this should be any location that you want to look around. So I'm going to just use the locations where I want to. And then if I save this, what I should get is, let's see. So what I should get is all the markets near the point I specified. So as you can see, I have received around 20 objects with either the title market or the type of the place is a market itself. So that was day 26 of 100 Days of Code. So if you sort of analyze these results that we've received, the 20 objects, the 20 markets that we've received, and if you check the distance from your point, you can see that you have the distance in meters. So you can see this is 1.6 kilometers away or 1600 meters away from where I would like to search for them. Now, suppose I want to explore things which are limited by distance. So, day 27 of 100 Days of Code basically is to limit this result with distance. So, what we're going to do is specify that I want to discover these markets within a radius of 1 kilometer. So, again, if you go to the API section, you'll see that with the at, you have an option to have a in parameter and then a circle with a latitude, longitude, and radius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this at into a in first, then specify that this is a circle with the center at 52.49 and latitude as 13.37. And then I need to specify a radius. So the radius here I chose is 1000 meters, which is 1 kilometer. And this should give me all the markets within the 1 kilometer radius. So if you see this, if you see that now this time it returns me only 7 results. So which means there's only 7 markets around the place I'm looking for. And sorry, 8. And then if you see the distance parameter, you can see that these are within 1 kilometer distance. So there we go. This was day 27 of 100 Days of Code. With day 27, we found out all the markets around my search center within a 1 kilometer radius. Now, with day 28, what we're going to do is sort of add an info bubble where these markets are and then display the distance from the center of this search. So in this, we're going to use the info bubble object, which was the UI object that we sort of went through in the first few days of 100 days of code. And what we're going to do is focus on the distance parameter in these results. So if you can see, if you check the result, in the results, you can see the distance parameter, which is in meters. And then you can also see that the sort of objects are arranged, the return objects are arranged in the ascending form of the distance from the center. So what we're going to do is just in the results, let's do this and add the info bubble. So we have around 8 results right now. What we're going to do is add one for each result. So I'm going to do result items and then do a for each. So what I want is for each item, I want to display an info bubble. So it is UI dot add bubble. So again, if you don't remember, we took this from developer.here.com. You go to the documentation, you go to the interactive maps or the vector tile JS. And if you go to the map controls and UI and scroll down, you will get the info bubble here. So if you remember, the info bubble needs a location and then it needs content, right? So as the location for this info bubble, what we're going to use is the position of this the markets that we searched for. So if you see, the markets are under item, and so you can also display the access like we talked about in day 25. So the access point or just the position. I'm going to use the position. So the info bubble has to have a position first. So I'm going to say item dot position, and then I want to give it some data points. So I'm going to use this content, and then in the content I'm going to display the distance. So I'm going to write distance first and then item point. Let me see, is it distance or distances? Yeah, distance. And then I'm just going to add meters to say that the distance is in meters. So that's it. That should essentially do this. Now, as you can see, okay. Ah, so you'll see that you have info bubbles and the location is all where the markets are, and the distance of the markets from the center I've chosen has been written in the sort of info bubble display boxes. So that's it for day 28 of 100 days of code. So when you go to a new place and want to search for something around you, want to search for markets, for coffee shops, etc., you don't always have to type the whole name of the place. So what I'm trying to say here is that it is the auto suggest, which helps you complete the place you were looking for, and you almost never have to type in the complete word. So with day 29, we're going to use the Autosuggest endpoint to find the nearest Starbucks, but this time you're not going to type the complete word Starbucks. So I'm going to change this to Autosuggest first. So let me get rid of this and change it to Autosuggest. So if you can see, go to the documentation section, just below Discover, you have the Autosuggest. And basically, Autosuggest is again a free form text query, but then it gives you responses even for half a query, half the name, half the word. So I'm going to type in star because Starbucks, and then I'm going to change this back to at because I want to specify just where I want to look for the coffee store. So I'm going to keep the same point of search. And okay, so let's see this. Now if I have this, what I can see is that not only Starbucks, but then I also have other shops, other stores, other places which possibly have a star in their names. So what I'm going to get is when you use this in an application, the autosuggest is going to return you these things which you can display to the user, and the user can select before even typing the whole word Starbucks. So this is how you would use an autosuggest endpoint. And so this was for day 29 of 100 days of code. Day 29 gave us around 20 results which had the letter star in the results. So it could be a Starbucks or it could be any other place which has star in it. But now I want to specify or sort of filter my research results even further, again using distance. So on day 27, we saw circle as the way of sort of filtering your results through distance. For day 30, we are going to look at a bounding box, which is also a way of restricting your search. So now if you look at a bounding box, it's nothing but you restrict your search within a certain box. And the format to enter the bounding box parameters is by specifying the west longitude, south latitude, east longitude, north latitude. What that means is if you take a look at this box, every point on, so considering that this is north, west, south, and east, considering the vertical line at on the west part of it, every point on this, so if you can see the positions, every point on this line has the same longitude. So what we're going to essentially do is use this as the representative for the west line. Then we're going to go counterclockwise. So you have the south. So every point on this line now, the southern line, has the same latitude. Similarly for east and then north. So what we're going to do is use these points to define our box. So I'm going to use the west longitude. So let's see. So again, we need to change this at to a in to define the bounding box. The syntax is that you write in, you write b box for bounding box, and then define the west longitude. So the west longitude was this. So I'm going to copy this, followed by then the south latitude. So you have the south latitude position, then you have the east longitude again. So you had these as the south latitude, so you have this as the east longitude. And then again, the north latitude. So you have this one as the north latitude. Let me just cross check this. Yeah. So we have the bounding box. And now if you check the results, hmm, I think, yeah, we have something wrong in the query. So instead of the south latitude, I have an incomplete number. So basically this was, I guess, 50.52.50. So I'm just going to type that in. And now if we save this, you have 7 objects which are, um, yeah, which are within the box, which contain the word star within their search query or their names. So you basically have the Starbucks, Star Bootcamp, Star Company or something in that particular box. If you want, we can even display the distances in a similar way as we did for day 28. Yeah, so what we need to do is add an info bubble, and within the info bubble also write the distances. So I'm just going to copy the code from day 28. So if you do this, you'll see that all the info bubbles are within the box that we had created. There you go. This was day 30 of 100 days of code. Thank you for watching this video for 100 days of code with here. We will keep posting videos, more blog posts, our GitHub repository as well. So keep looking at our Twitter handle at your dev for more tasks. Keep checking our blog page for the solutions blogs. So as you know, this every video also is accompanied by a blog post. So keep checking developer.here.com/blog to keep looking for solutions for 100 days of codes, as well as we have all these code snippets in our repository. So you can check the link in the description below. So comment on these, let us know if you found some of these solutions, let us know if you have any issues using our APIs, and keep following 100 days of code.